لا تنسى الاعجاب والاشتراك في القناة.
It's time for another highly anticipated showdown between two very popular mid-size sedans. Of course, I'm talking about the V6 Toyota Camry and the turbocharged Hyundai Sonata. You'll notice is the styling. It also might be the last thing you notice, as some people are completely put off by the wild design of the new Camry. It's easy to say that Toyota went overboard with the design, but I see a lot of Lexus in the bodywork, with big grills and aggressive eye-catching lines. Maybe the grill is too much though. I don't know about you, but it reminds me of one of those multi-bladed Gillette razors. Ow! Don't touch it though. Gillette, the best of men to get. Jumping into the vehicle, you get a very cool layout, something that the Camry isn't really well known for. As expected though, the car also has a fantastic approach to the small details, with real stitched upholstery. I can't give the car a completely glowing review though. I don't like the way they incorporated less luxurious materials in the vehicle, and Toyota still refuses to get on board with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which is pretty much a must-have in today's vehicles. The seats are also a bit aggressive, especially with these forward-tilted headrests. And in the back seat, the armrest is really flimsy and sad. Speaking of quick trips, the Camry can definitely make trips even quicker thanks to its 3.5-liter V6 engine that makes 301 horsepower and 267 pound-feet of torque. But while the engine is really smooth, the one thing that really gets me in the Toyota Camry is the transmission. It's a little unrefined and clumsy, and I can't believe I'm saying that about a Toyota drivetrain. Now, there are some different drive modes which change the way that the car's drivetrain behaves, but every time it's a bit clumsy and it feels like it's in the wrong gear all the time. But while the transmission is really unrefined and not my favorite part of the car, you have to admit it is a much quieter cabin in here than in the Sonata. LE version of the Toyota Camry comes with pretty much every single bell and whistle that Toyota offers. But the highlights of them include the head-up display and the 360-degree parking camera. Of course, this car comes with adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, rear cross-traffic alert, and all sorts of other neato features. It also comes with the upgraded JBL branded sound system, which sounds really solid. I also have to give kudos to Toyota for updating their navigation system, which now looks and feels more modern than it ever did. I still wish it had Android Auto and Apple CarPlay compatibility, but I'll stop whining about that in a moment. And while this car has all of the neat driving assistance and safety aids, it doesn't have a lot going for it in terms of convenience features. It just has heated seats and dual-zone automatic climate control. It's also more reserved and conservative. There's a more horizontal layout to the buttons, which isn't as stylish as the Camry, but it's easy to get accustomed to and understand what everything does very quickly. Both cars feature large 8-inch touchscreens with customizable home screens that are easy to use, but I do love the fact that the Sonata has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There are more convenience features in here as well, like vented seats and a heated steering wheel. There are also window shades in the back, which help provide a sort of executive, don't look at me vibe on cloudy days. While there's less secret storage, I do love the little ridge here to prop up my phone. It also allows me to use it as a teleprompter. Hashtag AutoGuide Life Hacks. And while we're talking about the rear seats, the Sonata is apparently down on legroom, but it doesn't feel like it once you're sitting back here. This car has more passenger volume in total, and there's more cargo space as well. And not to mention, this armrest, that's a solid armrest. As soon as you start driving the Sonata, you realize that there's a huge difference between this and the Camry. Now, under the hood is a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that makes 245 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. Both of those numbers are down in comparison to the Toyota Camry, but it feels more punchy and responsive due to the instantly available torque down low. As a result, the car feels more eager to get going and more natural to drive. I think it's far easier to live with than the Toyota Camry, which you need to rev up and get going. Yes, so it feels more powerful and responsive, but you also hear more of the car as well. Without a doubt, this car is louder in terms of cabin noise. This car also uses an 8-speed automatic transmission, but it feels more refined and thought through in comparison to the Toyota Camrys. It never feels lost, and gear changes are nice and smooth. Now, both cars also feature the same combined fuel economy rating at 26 miles per gallon combined. There's a couple of different drive modes in here that help you tailor the driving experience to however you feel, including a really aggressive sport mode and a fuel-minded eco mode. There's also a very clever smart mode, which kind of adapts to the way that you drive. In terms of driving assistance features, this car has pretty much the same kind of suite as the Toyota Camry does. So it has adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, and all that jazz. However, this car doesn't feature a head-up display or that fancy 360-degree camera, but I don't think those are deal breakers. Instead, this car has a more refined adaptive cruise control system, which closes the gap nicely, as opposed to the Camry, which leaves a very large gap and people end up cutting you off, even in the smallest setting. And when it comes to pricing, this fully loaded vehicle comes in at just over $32,000, which is an almost $5,000 difference when compared to the Toyota Camry. These cars are a staple of almost every household. They're also some of the best-selling products in each of these automakers' lineup. While the Camry is all new, it's just not as complete as a package when compared to the Sonata. And I can't believe I'm giving Toyota a hard time about an unrefined powertrain. But it's more than that. There's a few helpful features missing, and it's more expensive as well. The Sonata is more affordable, packs a ton of helpful convenience features, and feels more natural to drive. It surprised me in weathering the storm from an all-new Toyota Camry, and it will surprise you too.